Welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth, episode 15, and now we're gonna play as Samson because he has yet to clear the boss rush. And we're so lost, we're never gonna figure out where we're going until... for fuck's sake! That's the worst way to begin a run. Honestly, this will be the kind of run where I'd be tempted to just outright restart because fighting Envy in the very first room that you go in the game in which there is any kind of adversity really sucks, so this is why we're gonna injure ourselves to the point of near death, just in order to get the damage boost required in order to make this fight a little bit less tedious. I'm just leaving that in just as a reminder that even though I think that Binding of Isaac Rebirth is a great game, sometimes it can be really shitty. I mean, what would you think about the game if this was the very first exposure that you got to the game? Honestly, you pretty much will be desolated, or deserted, or... I'm not too sure what you will be, but you'd be a thing. And it's been a while since we got to use Shoop the Whoop. I'm pretty sure that the last time we got it, it was in a run where we already had a better spacebar item. And the better spacebar item in this game is not really hard to find because it's kind of a bad item. One fun thing with Shoop the Whoop in this game is that it scales based on your damage, but the laser ray itself, or the brimstone laser that it shoots, is so short and so not long-lived at all that by the time that it's shot, it barely deals any damage. And now we got the guillotine. This is an item that will be pretty interesting in theory because it gives you a boost of damage as well as the speed at which you fire your tears. But it also has the side effect of making your shooting box really unpredictable because now the place where you shoot your tears, aka your head, is always circling around your body, and honestly this is really disorienting. Honestly, in most runs, if I see guillotine, I'm just gonna skip on it because I'm really annoyed. So yeah, that was Shoop the Whoop, and yeah, it only took us about 4 tears before we dealt about the same amount of damage than Shoop the Whoop dealt. Hooray for a worthless item. I mean, if you had a line of enemies, then it wouldn't be too bad, but it's kind of an underwhelming item for the most part. Alright, let's go waste some health. Oh, in order to be able to gain health. Gimpy is a really nice item to get as Samson because it means you can get the hell out of injuries in order to become powerful, and then you kill enemies in order to regain your heart. So all in all, it's a win-win situation. But yeah, when I was saying that Shoop the Whoop is pretty bad, I couldn't even manage to kill a regular spider with that thing. Okay, the big spider, but still, I'm supposed to have like damage boost because of all the damage that I've taken, so there's literally no excuse for this happening. This is just really, really bad. This, however, is really, really good. Knowing where secrets are is always good, but yeah, we don't have any bombs, so that might be a problem. I mean, this is where that things are going to get kind of confusing because our ball of bandages is circling around our body, which means that right now we can barely even use it in order to damage enemies because we're probably just going to ram our body without seeing it into the enemy. But now we have another item which is really neat, the dry baby. A lot of people consider this as being one of the... Okay, I was trying to use Shoop the Whoop here, but decided against it. Yeah, you can cancel spacebar items if you press the spacebar again in the midst of all this. But yeah, Dry Baby is really fun because it will block enemy projectiles, and whenever it does so, it has a chance to unleash an attack that will deal 40 damage to all enemies in the room. So all in all, that's pretty amazing. And you even have a chance of getting him in the depth if you bomb any of the skulls that you see all over the place, and therefore that makes it so that this is an item that you have a good chance to see through the course of your adventures. Also, I've taken so much damage by now that I'm really freaking dead. But this also means that because we got hit so much, we're probably not going to have a devil room. But I don't think that by now I really need it. I mean, guillotine is kind of a pain, but at least it gives me more power in order to kill enemies. So at least we've got that going for us. Yeah, just because of the guillotine, our box have been sawed in half. That's kind of gruesome. Yeah, I might as well take Jero just because I usually always go and do my little tour of the entire floor manually without skipping much in the way, and Jero is going to be really useful if we get on a room that gives us a shitload of supplies. Or if we just find a blood donation machine. That will also be the ticket, because then we're just going to get a shitload of money out of it, and then we're gonna use Jero in order to make it so that we'll double the money and we'll be rich. But yeah, Shoop the Whoop is really bad whenever you have guillotine, because your brimstone laser just kinda angles and goes into circles, so that makes it even harder to use than it really should be, so yeah, all in all, guillotine really isn't helping us. Yeah, I mean, Maggie's Fate will be a nice item to have as Samson, because it will allow us to have even more hearts in order to allow us to get hit, in order to increase our power level, but I cannot say no to the Whipworm just because it's really a nice trinket, because it makes it so that if you ever drop on range, it will make it so that your projectiles will go at such speeds that you will hardly notice that you lost any range. Yep, that's Dry Baby into action. Every single time that it blocks a projectile, it has a chance of doing this. He especially earns his stripes in fights like Mom's Art or It Lives, where there's a shitload of projectiles on the screen all at once, so he'll just activate over and over again in order to damage the boss, and I'm pretty sure that you will be able to kill most of the boss just by standing still and do absolutely nothing. Also, don't ask me why the hell I'm using up an entire bomb just in order to get 1 coin. Wow, that is really priceless indeed. Oops, sometimes Curse of Darkness makes it hard to see whether those enemies are champion or not, because if you try to make a red enemy blue, then it's not really going to look like anything. And now we picked up what I think is one of the stronger fly enemies, not fly enemies, but fly item in the game, the Smart Fly. Not only it will block shots whenever it's around you, but whenever you get hurt, it'll just go and attack any single enemy that is in the screen in viewing point automatically without you having to do anything. And it deals damage reasonably quick too, so all in all, he's quite the champ. Also, we gotta go back in order to see if there's any meaningful pills in here. Kinda worthless. Pretty worthless as Samson. You always want to have red hearts handy. So we're just gonna keep our Jero rune in order to have something good come out of it eventually. Oh, for fuck's sake! Good thing that at least I had a golden key, but wow, am I fuming just because of that. Holy shit. At least the shopkeeper head is really happy that we just upgraded the store. We only have 1 level left in order to have a fully upgraded shop. And then we'll have the maximum amount of items that we can ever have in the shop in one single go. Shoop the woo! Okay, that was a terrible use, but hey, at least the Smart Fly is doing really good job right here. Yeah, that fly means business, and whenever there's no enemies left, it's just gonna go back near you in order to block more shots, and the moment that you'll get near an enemy again, then it will go back in order to attack. So yeah, that fly is really smart indeed. I don't really remember how we even managed to mess up the boss rush in the first game, but I guess that we probably should pick up the pace, because if things carry on the way that they are right now, we might not actually make it to the end in time. Especially if we just decide to go and take yet another speed down pill. Good thing at least that we're reasonably fast. And don't forget to bomb your blue rocks, the one with a hex on it, because eventually you'll want to unlock the small rock, and it's really far away because we're gonna have to destroy a shitload of these things. So that's probably what we're going to do with our Jera rune, because hey, first thing that we got is a nickel. And maybe we'll get something else. I probably could have used the donation machine or the blood donation machine yet another time, but that'll be enough money for the time being. But still, I might have lucked out and got a dime, so who knows. As long as you get to half a red heart, everything is okay, so you probably could be able to push it up a little bit more than that. Also, it's always a good thing that those knights always appear alone whenever you meet them in the caves or the catacombs or whatever. Oh, that will have been also another good rune in order to use the Jera rune. We're just going to see. Yeah, it will have been as good, but beggars cannot be choosers, I guess. And besides, we probably will have needed to cover more ground in order to collect all of our money. Oh. Now, that's a good room for Shoop the Whoop if I've seen one, but then again, we've boosted our tier damage so much by being hit over and over again by the blood donation machine that we don't really need it. And here's an excellent room for Samson. Excellent, we have all of our health again, time to get hit some more, even though I honestly don't believe that we're gonna get any more damage, because there's a certain damage cap that you can have by being hit over and over again, so don't get too excited. Yeah, now it almost deals reasonable damage just because our damage is buff all the way to hell. But we cannot end this floor yet, because we still have to find the treasure room, so we're gonna have to do some little expedition in order to figure out where the last things that we need are. And it turns out that it's probably at the toughest part of them all, because these enemies are always a challenge to deal with, just because they really have a lot of health and finally they hit pretty damn hard. One full red heart for this early in the game can result in quite the pain. And here we have Blood of the Martyr, so this is a generic damage up, but with a twist. If you hold the Book of Belial, it will also multiply your damage up by 50%, so it can be a really interesting item in that circumstance. Okay, Shoop the Whoop might be a bad item, but to be fair in this one fight, it doesn't really have anything to say against itself, because it's just a champion carrion queen which has a shitload of health, and she basically refuses to die no matter what. I hate this boss so much, because not only it's hard to hit her, but she also barely takes any damage whatsoever. If you're too slow, or if your tier speed is too slow to even hit the boss, then you're gonna have to wait for her to spawn the little hearts, and then you kill the hearts as they appear in order to be able to kill the boss eventually, because whenever they die, they'll also make the boss health drop a little bit. At least it's a good thing that we're starting to have some pretty nice damage, even without having all of the damage boosts that being hurt a shitload will do for us, but we're probably going to continue to be hurt a shitload just because this is usually the most effective way of your time in order to do anything as Samson. Also, I hate to be one of those people, aka the people that whine about the frames per second or anything, but I really don't like the effect that your head does whenever it's floating around your body because of the guillotine, because it just looks so jerky whenever you play the game, because it's like it's revolving around you at like 30 FPS while the entire game remains completely smooth. So, yeah, even when your laser just fades out, the damage just completely disappears after a certain point. So, it's like the entirety of the laser does not even kill the enemy. That's really, really bad. With that said, however, the little beef that I just expressed, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be any of a thing in Afterbirth, because the entire engine is optimized so that everything just looks really smooth. So, all in all, yeah, and overall I'm whining for a whole lot of nothing right now, and I'm basically just trying to figure out things to say just in order to pass the time. Sorry, but we're not going to give our keys to the beggar. But yeah, whenever we'll upgrade the store yet again, we're gonna have yet one extra spot in order to... Oh, okay. That's a shitload of 2 of hearts, so I totally know what I'm doing whenever I'll see a blood donation machine. Yeah, also the cartridge, I'm not too sure if people still remember what it does, but it gives you a slight chance to become invincible whenever you get hurt. But the chances of that happening are so small that it's about like the chances of a cartridge working whenever you shove it in your NES without having to blow on it or anything. I think, yeah, that's what we're probably going to do, because the cartridge is borderline useless. And the flatworm gives us a little bit more of a hitbox to our tiers. So, here's a new boss that we had yet to see. We unlock him by beating the depths 20 times. Yeah, it surely seemed like a long time ago, but it took us that long in order to finally be able to get this boss. He's an alternative to Monstro 2, and for the most part, he's a shitload easier. All he does is just clumsily hop toward you, shoot balls of tar that explode, and make the entire floor slow down for the remainder of the fight. And all in all, we're gonna talk about some of the other aspects of the fight a little later, but yeah, we unlock Lil Gish by doing so, and that's a pretty neat familiar. He just shoots your casual tiers that deal 3.5 damage to enemies, but all of his tiers will slow down enemies, so that's where he becomes really, really fun. All in all, that's a nice familiar to have. He's not overwhelmingly powerful or anything, but he's really pleasant to have. Also, the Book of Belial is always too good to pass on, but you gotta make sure to collect at least the Guppy equipment in order to have it count toward your Guppy total, if you want to become Guppy. But having guaranteed Devil and Angel rooms is always a great thing to have, so once again, how can you say no to that? Although, unfortunately... Yeah, what the fuck? And now I have 3 2 of heart cards, so... Yeah, we're just going to farm some money right here by using all of our cards in order to replenish the money. And yeah, we're just going to keep on until we have no more health left. So goddammit, I'm looking at myself play and I'm like, goddammit, I'm so freaking conservative. I have 4.5 soul hearts. I'm not gonna die if I get reduced to half a red heart of health. More so considering that we have Gimpy. That will make enemies have a chance to drop half a red heart upon dying. Also, speaking of dying, we probably should pick up the pace. We only have 3 minutes, but we have Mom's Knife, so it's not as if we even need to play particularly well in order to make it on time. Also, hooray for being a brain sniper. Oh, alright, it's time to get rid of the flatworm. Besides, it's not as if we have tears anymore, so flatworm is kind of useless, and whipworm probably is also useless while we're at it, so yeah, we might as well just pick up the fish head, which will make us spawn flies whenever we'll get hurt, and that will work really well considering our power level. Yeah, we're pretty freaking powerful right now. We can insta-kill pretty much any boss in the game because of our knife. And to say that Smite will complain at one point that he will get the knife too often. I'm sorry, but you can never get this weapon too enough or not enough or anything. Oh, penetrative shot. I'm really happy, but at least we're going faster, so we've got that going for us at least. Yeah, when I told you that making it to mom in time was not going to be a problem. And look at how long this fight is gonna take. Oh, okay, she survived one hit. I'm really surprised. Okay, Krampus, however, is not gonna survive more than one hit. And we're totally going to say no to Krampused. Oh, alright, I guess this choice is barely a choice because, okay, it's a no-brainer. We want money equal power because, holy shit, we're going to destroy the hell out of this boss rush. We're not even going to fast forward through it because I predict that it's not gonna take more than a minute in order to go through it. I'm pretty sure that the longest part of this entire fight will be to make the enemies die or anything after they've spawned. We're gonna see more times seeing the enemies being animated into the ways that they die and everything than we're gonna spend fighting. I mean, we're already at like wave 4 out of 12 and we barely even started. Yep, only one hit. This knife is about as strong and as versatile as a rocket launcher, except it has no chance of ever exploding in your face, so that way it's perfect. Yeah, we barely grazed Monstro, the red Monstro with our knife, and it still died just within a slight bit of impact. Yeah, and now that's the dreaded wave that usually takes a long time. Yeah, it's already done. I freaking love this knife so much, especially when you have so much damage at your disposal. Right now we have irresponsible power levels, but come on, we have to be responsible with them by... Nah, were we kidding? Her Smart Fly is trying so hard to be useful, but unfortunately it kinda pales right now. I'm sorry, Smart Fly, but you earn your vacation. You can retire forever because we have a knife. Okay, but I guess it kinda helped against the Mask of Infinity for like the fraction of a second. Yeah, bosses die so fast that even the horsemen don't even have time to get off their horses before they die. I'm even surprised that the Fallen had the time to split in two. And here's to another very thrilling boss rush down. And yeah, we get an item that we're not gonna keep in our inventory. This is the Notch Axe, obviously a reference to Minecraft. Whenever you activate it, it allows you to destroy as many bricks as you want in a room by colliding into them until, well, that you decide to either press the space bar again to get rid of the effect or whenever you get hurt. I mean, it could be useful in the early game when you have no bombs in anything, but getting this as a reward for the boss rush is kind of a slap in the face because you're not gonna use this at this late in the game. That said, however, we have absolutely no bombs, so it would have been perfect. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's not perfect. Honestly, I want to be assured of having at least one more devil deal than be able to destroy rocks, which may or may not be any useful in the slightest, because honestly, I don't really care whether I get the small, yeah, that's right, it's not even unlocked yet, so yeah, I just keep assuming that I have this ready, even though we're not gonna see the small rock being unlocked until quite a time, but alright, it's time to reach max power level, because we have all the money in the world, so we have an extra 4 points of damage, and unfortunately Mamogurdy will be in the receiving end of this. Okay, but with that said, I played very bad. Okay, usually whenever you pick up experimental treatment and you lose health, it's pretty much a good sign, because that means that the other stats that matter, aka attack speed, damage, and everything, probably got a boost. I mean, sure, the usual aim of a Samson run is to get hit a whole lot in order to become more powerful and everything, but do I really need to play that way anymore? I mean, with the loadout that I have, there's basically no more skill required. I mean, as long as you can aim a knife without running into an enemy like a buffoon, then you can win. unfortunately, our money does not have any further use to it. Once again, if there's anything that can potentially endanger me, it's the guillotine, because now things are even more misleading, because for the entire game, we've played by having our arms, or well, our face be the thing that shoots our tears, but the knife is being wielded by the body. So now, it's the way it normally is, but now, because I've played the entire game while having the reflex of using my head as a point of shooting, now everything doesn't work the way it's supposed to anymore. So once again, I'm completely confused. Alright, and in order to celebrate the fact that we have 99 coins, well, we're just going to go and gamble, because why not? I mean, what can we possibly do otherwise? So yeah, we're just going to play with the gambling machine, and we're gonna play until the machine explodes. That's right, you cannot stop me, I'm a madman. So we'll just fast forward, because nobody wants to see everything that... And here's one of the rarest sights that you'll ever have in the game, the dollar! You can win it every once in a blue moon whenever a bunch of chihuahuas will suddenly decide that they can fly and travel through time and space. And well, this is exactly as it says, it gives you 99 coins. But it's so rare that every single time that it appears, it's pretty much a complete surprise. Also, before I go and have a look at that downward room, we might as well just go and clear some additional room, because I kinda have a feeling as to what's behind this door. Do we dare? Do we dare reroll this absolutely perfect build that will boringly get us a victory without any kind of effort? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, our tiers still seem pretty interesting, but the main focus of the rebuild that we have is the blue fly that has now appeared. It is the blue baby's only friend, and it's a pretty neat item, but we'll see him whenever the time will come. We have a bunch of other familiars in the way, like Little Hunt. We spent some time fighting him in the past, now he's here in order to help us. He deals damage to enemies, as well as put a fear effect on them. Little Chubby is a little guy that is just going to be sent flying toward your enemies at high speed, and it also can do a fair bit of damage, but... Oh, it looks like that we pretty much hit the jackpot in terms of familiars. We also have Daddy Longlegs. Probably one of the strongest familiars of the entire game. People who have played this game up to another character that we're going to play a little bit later. Lost. Well, these people usually are. Okay, this is a really amazing familiar, and they're right, because this is a familiar that can single-handedly win you games. Daddy Longlegs is just a huge pair of legs, or one leg, because that's pretty much all that it is, and it's just going to go and attack one enemy for a shitload of damage. And that's what the blue friend can do. You guide it with your attack button, and you just steer it into enemies that you want to attack. Doesn't deal a lot of damage per se, but it deals damage really fast in order to compensate. So, because this new build has pretty much dropped all of our damage down to non-existent levels, well, this fly is gonna be really useful in order to take care of the bigger bosses. Generally, I refer to the Blue Baby's Only Friend as the kind of item that pretty much allows you to salvage awful builds. I mean, as another item, well, we have Mutant Spider because we can shoot 4 tiers at a time. We have yet to pick up the Mutant Spider in proper hands, but that's like the second or third time that we got it just by re-rolling our inventory. At least we got Spectral Tears, so that's a good thing to also have. But a thing that is really bad with this loadout is Lost Contact. When you have stuff like the Inner Eye, Mutant Spider, or the Sacred Heart, which all slow down your firing speed a whole lot, Polyphemus is also another item that come to mind. Having your tears being blocked or having your tears being able to be blocked by other projectiles, it's not gonna lead to great things. Yeah, we might as well get the 9 lives, because, hey, it's not as if we're paying a huge price, only 1 red heart. And yeah, other things that we got with this loadout, we also had the Leech, Robo BB, Magneto. Magneto is not really a good item in any stretch of the imagination, more so considering that we're now Lord of the Flies, which means that we can fly. Okay, we didn't even need the blue friend because Daddy Longleg was on the case. Okay, even though I still think I got an okay build, and that's only because I have the blue fly, well, this is still going to be a pretty easy victory to have. Even though we have rooms like this one that just make you wanna die, because holy shit, I hate these rooms so much. Sheol just has a really good knack of throwing you really awful level layouts in order to make it so that you'll want to hate yourself. Yeah, unfortunately, our 99 coins are now completely useless. Oh, okay, we have Bobby Bomb, apparently, which makes your bomb homing. I really don't remember if we got it previously, but hey, at least now we know that this is a thing. Yeah, this fight might be a little bit trickier than I would like it to be, but yeah, we've got so much familiar power that it's not going to be a huge problem. And now, this is a case that will be handled only by Daddy Longleg and the Blue Fly. There's another item in the game that kinda does the same thing, but for the most part, I almost think that this is a better item because you can still keep on doing casual attacking if that's the thing that works out the best for you, and out of the gate without any kind of war of upgrades or anything, it's still really damn good. So all in all, the Blue Fly, I'm not gonna say that it's an item that will win you games on its own, except that it's really close to being that because it really is that powerful. Oh yeah, that's right, we also got Pyro because we have 99 bombs. Oh yeah, that's right, we once cleared Sheol with Samson, so now we're finally in new untreaded territory, the Dark Room. Now this is where things are gonna start becoming tricky because once that you get to this point in the game, we finally got to the point where the game caught up with our loadout. If we had the other character that we had previously, we would have steamrolled the Dark Room without any kind of problem, but now we're just gonna be strong enough to barely make it through. Yeah, we're just oh no! Fuck! No! Ah! This is not even worthy of a flashback montage because this barely just happened in last update. Another freaking room with 3 cages where you never really know whenever they'll start to pounce on you, and I'm way less stronger than I was as Eve, so this might actually be a real problem. And it doesn't help that we have to use our basic arsenal because, for the most part, our Blue Fly is way too slow in order to be able to catch on with these freaking fast rollers of shit. But every single time that we have a chance, we're gonna park his butt right on them while they're busy doing nothing. Okay, we might as well pull it off this time because we only have 1 left. Yeah. I mean, just look at how much trouble they cause, and in the end they still have so much health. They're so nimble and everything, and still they carry on through the entire world like they're made out of slippery butter. Who knows? But then again, I'm not a huge fan of butter, so maybe this is why I'm drawing these comparisons. Now, Mask of Infamy is kinda fast in order to deal with the only friend, but since he ignores their shield entirely, we might as well use him because, yep, that's the way that we do it. So, as long as I don't get yet more asshole-ish room like the 3 cages and everything, I think we should be okay. I mean, we've got that challenge twice in a row, so we should be good enough in order to go through it. we're gonna stomp the way out of this by doing absolutely nothing. Oh, that will be a perfect time in order to teleport out of this room, but unfortunately we have no such item. But hey, at least this is an enemy where all of our familiars are going to do really good work in order to kill the hell out of them, because Mega Fatty doesn't really move enough in order to be a huge threat. Now it's being triple attacked by a ghost, by a slimy leech, and finally a fly. Yep, that's how things are gonna die into the dark room. Okay, this is not 3 or 2 cages, but that's still an awful room to have. Also, notice that the bombs that we're creating with the Anarchist Cookbook also home toward enemies because of our homing bomb item. So, all in all, this is really neat. But yeah, whenever I fight Death, it's always my first concern to get him off his mount first, because I genuinely think that avoiding his horse is way easier than dodging all of the sides that he creates while he's still mounted. So, in overall, this is what you gotta do if you have several of them in one tiny room like that. Okay, I guess we're just gonna wait on this room until the enemies all die, because it's not as if we need to involve ourselves much during this one fight. I probably could get closer in order to also assure that the Leech and the Little Hunt also fight, because they're kinda stubborn at times. And we got Blood Rights, and with this one character it's gonna be completely useless. Essentially, you use it in order to injure yourself for 1 full heart in order to deal a lot of damage to all of the enemies in the room. There are some items that will make this item especially useful, but in the meantime, we gotta go into radio silence, because holy shit, we gotta focus if we're going to make it through this fucking shitty room. Good thing that we have the dead cat, because if there's a room where I will die, it probably will be this one. I really hate their stomp attack, because, like I said previously, there's absolutely no way to predict where the ragged jaggies of death are gonna go, so yeah, it's really shitty. So yeah, we're just gonna go back to the beginning in order to get our Helge's rune, and it's time to spend most of this fight invulnerable while we let the fly do the entire job. Or everything else for that matter, because now everybody has wised in and are joining in for the fight against evil. Also, if I'm gonna use the Anarchist Cookbook during this fight, it's probably gonna be once that I'm done with the first half of the fight, whenever the boss will split into 2 like that, because then we will be able to kill both of the halves at once. Okay, or maybe not kill them, because there's no way you're gonna kill this boss in only 1 hit. Oh, okay, good thing that we barely are scraping by, but we better not get hit again, because we're gonna have to redo this entire fight. Yeah, this rotating brimstone laser is the worst attack that this boss has to offer, mainly because the hard times every once in a while that it's going to be impossible to dodge the attack. Whew, alright, we made it. That definitely was a little bit more of a thrilling playthrough, wasn't it? We got a shitload of items, absolutely no attack power whatsoever, but we still managed to pull through, and there goes the dark room with yet another character. Now I'm just debating, whenever the time will come to unlock the other end portion of the game, should I just do this like off camera or something, because we're gonna have to do a bunch of incomplete playthroughs in order to achieve that, and I'm not too sure if that's gonna be any fun to watch. So that's it for this run. Coming up next, a new challenge, and oh. Fuck me. It's challenge 13, Beans!